Hey, good morning everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Well, it's getting to be late morning, beautiful day, beautiful solar catching day, and today we have another portable folding solar panel array, 400 watts, from Nurzviy. So this comes with a nice heavy duty case. This is kind of like almost a naga hide material, very sturdy. The zipper is nice and strong. It comes with some additional connections for whatever device you might want to be charging up, as far as portable power stations, and it just connects with the MC4 to the back of the solar panels. So it's nice that they included this for your other devices, but we've just got this tied in right now with the MC4 all the way up to where we've got a Victron charge controller, so we can get an accurate read on what this thing is doing. And it comes with a very nice shoulder strap with a little bit of a cushion, and you're probably going to need this because this does weigh in at about 33 pounds when they're all folded up in this case. And then also it's got a double set of handles, one on this side and one on the back side, for just picking it up like a suitcase right here. But for short distances that would work. If you were going to have to haul this from your truck out to a little more of a remote location, you're going to need this shoulder strap. So nice they included that too, because it is a little heavy and a little cumbersome. And as nice as this carrying case is for the panels once they're folded up, and as sturdy it is, there is a weak point in this case. And I don't know why they went with this, but it's a very kind of cheap plastic on this one end here. And I've only opened this and pulled it out a couple of times during this testing, and this has already separated. The stitching is pretty wide on there. This is a weak point. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of that heavy duty Gorilla tape to reinforce this entire stretch of the case, because for the amount of weight that this is, carrying this around, this is not going to hold up. Like I said, I've been very gentle with this. It came in perfect condition, but this is, compared to the rest of this material, which is very sturdy and very well built, and the stitching is very tight, on this particular end, not so much. So yeah, I'm going to reinforce that. It'll be okay, but just thought I'd point that out. And the entire case will double as a kickstand for your array, and I'll show you what that looks like as well. So when it's completely opened up, this is how you want to get the kickstand done. Now this side of it is floppy, and this will be the bottom part of the kickstand. And then over here, this is rigid. It has a rigid board in the center of it, and this will be the top that comes up to support the array. So using this kickstand, I have to say, is not very user-friendly. It's a minimum of a two-person job, really, to hold the panels up because they're so heavy, and then to get this to where it is actually supporting the unit. And I mean, I really struggled myself to get this up, and I've tried this a few times to see if I was overlooking something, but it's a little difficult. And I would suggest that you lean it up against something nice and flat, because this is about as straight as you're going to get that, not like in the pictures that it shows, but I mean, it is opened up flat enough to catch good sun, but yeah, it's pretty difficult to do with one person. So yeah, here's the top of the stiff part, which gives it the support, and it's got a couple of these quick clips to go in these ringlets here, and there's two, one there and one there. And then on the bottom you can see this softer part, which keeps the kickstand from kicking out and falling over. You've got two clips down there. But I'm telling you, for one person, this is a difficult chore. And try as I might, that's about as straight as I can get that array. And I don't like that. I don't like that. You know, I want them straight on, all the same way. So yeah, the panels are working good. The kickstand, not so good. I'm gonna go back to laying it up on that piece of plywood. So that just looks a lot better to me, laying against a firm surface. I've tried several times to get that kickstand to get that even close to laying like that, and it just won't. So I had it leaning up against the side of my truck. That works, but you get the idea. You're probably gonna wanna have a firmer surface than that included kickstand, because this is the way I want my solar panels to look. Nice and flat, all facing the same direction. And that works. So it's still late morning and the sun has not reached its most optimum position in the sky, but here it is, near 80 degrees, pumping 320 watts in full sun right now. It's probably going to get a little better as the sun gets a little bit higher. Of course, it'll get a little bit warmer and there's a cloud rolling through. But yeah, 25, 29, you see the volts fluctuating quite a bit, as they do when the clouds roll through, but looking pretty good. Let's see if we can get a sunburst right here. And this is late morning, so looking real good, looking real good. And because I wasn't able to use a portable power station, which I kind of wanted to do for this demonstration, which it would work good for that as well. I've got 200 amp hours worth of lithium iron phosphate battery being charged right now, and you can see they're pretty full. It's already getting up to about 13.7 volts. Looking good. Now the clouds just opened up again, 324 watts. And I'll remind you that is with a 90-foot solar panel cable connection with 10 gauge wire. So might be losing a little bit on that long of a run, but looking really, really good. Now, if it was a little bit cooler, I think this would get much closer to 400 watts. But like I said, it's a warm day, and there it is. This is the highest we've seen, and then here comes a cloud, and watch it drop off. So the Victron's giving us a very accurate read of the voltage and the wattage coming through. Yeah, looking really good. Liking this panel output, and for a 90-foot run, pretty sweet. But with the sun getting into a better position, 340 watts. Now, that's the most I've seen. And of course, the temperature is warming up quite a bit. They are in full sun. I could probably adjust the angle a little bit and get a few more watts, but I like it where it is right now. So, and again, if it was a cooler day, this would be getting much closer to the 400 watt rated output, but this is respectable for the heat of the day and the fast moving conditions that I am currently under. So they had asked me to try to charge up an EcoFlow for my testing, and I did, but of course this EcoFlow, the River 2, has a max solar input of 125 watts, and I did hook up the connection that they include with those solar panels, which this fits the back of the EcoFlow, and the EcoFlow did as it said overloaded, so it was too much. I then moved on to try it on the Opus, which can take 400 watts of solar, and it has a barrel plug like this, which I plugged into right there. And it did charge this up quite quickly under these kind of conditions. But the one thing, the Opus, which normally has a power in display of wattage, it would not show what the wattage was coming in on the panels. So in order for me to get an accurate read on the panels, I had to hook it up to that other system with the Victron charge controller to see how those panels were, what their output was. So yeah, I tried to use these, and I did, and it was successful in charging this. It was just too much power for a small EcoFlow, so keep that in mind if you want these for a charging station. Your charging station has to be able to accept 400 watts. So yeah, it did charge this up, no problem. I just couldn't see how much was coming in, and I really wanted to see that. So hence the good old Victron. So for me, this portable 400 watt solar array from Nurzviy is a little bit of a mixed bag. I love having 400 watts that fold up and fit into a case. It is a little heavy, so keep that in mind. And the case could use a little more reinforcement, especially on that one end like I showed you. I will do that to make it to where I can lug this around wherever I want on the property. The solar panels are working well, but it's a little cumbersome, and like I said, that kickstand is very difficult to put up. They need to probably reconfigure and come up with something new if they want to have you know, a built-in kickstand, like maybe one kickstand behind every single array. That would straighten it up quite a bit. But it is putting out the output you would expect under these conditions, so it's working, and it's working well. And the other thing I will say about this is the toughness of the material. These are very rigid boards. The other thing that I will mention is when I had those clips on here, and as hot as these panels are, they pulled down quite a bit on the top end especially. And under these conditions, I'm afraid you might deform the panels somewhat if you were relying on that kickstand. So for my purposes, I wouldn't rely on the kickstand at all. I would get it supported similarly to what I have right here, a piece of plywood up against the side of your truck where you could tie it down with those ringlets in some kind of a way. But you guys would figure it out if you got something like this. But a little heavy, a little cumbersome, but good output, and they are portable. So I want to thank Nurzviy for sending out another portable, foldable solar panel array. Like I said, we looked at their 100 watt unit. Now that's very lightweight, very sturdy, works very well, has the various connections for your various devices, just like this one does. And although this has a lot more power, it is a little harder to move around. Pretty much a two-person operation, so keep that in mind. All right, still technically morning. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'll catch you on the next one. Aloha. Yeah, warming right up too. Whew. No rain in sight.